silver wings upon their chest. These are men, America's best. 100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret. Alright, let's take time to reflect on how awesome the Green Beret song is. It is the theme song of the United States Army Special Forces, also known as the Green Beret. And let's reflect on that as we learn about reflections. Level 4 is reflections on the coordinate plane. Learning targets for today. Got 2 of them. One, transform figures by using reflections. So just get the general idea of reflections. And then number 2, the one we're going to spend more time on, transform figures on a coordinate plane by using reflections. So we're going to work on the coordinate plane. Some success criteria. Every part of the pre-image, so remember pre-image is what it starts with, image is what it ends up with. So every part of the pre-image must reflect perpendicular to the line of reflection, so straight to that line of reflection. Every part of the pre-image reflects the same distance on each side of the line. And when we deal with reflecting on a coordinate plane over the x or y axis, we've got some shortcuts, and we're going to learn about those as well. Oh, by the way, if you didn't figure out why I was singing that Green Beret song, well, you can see my theme for this one is the Green Beret. All right, couple of vocabulary terms for you. First of all, the most important one for this one, what is a reflection? It is one of our keywords for the chapter. A reflection is the replacement of each point on one side of an axis by the point symmetrically replaced on the other side. It's kind of wordy, but basically you're flipping. So a flip will be our, in parentheses, you're flipping a point or a shape over a line of reflection. All right, a couple of things that are really important to know today. The x and the y-axis. So when you have a graph, the x-axis is the horizontal axis. So if I draw this like this, I've got 2 axes. X is always the one that goes left to right. It's like you sign at the x. And then the y, kind of a taller letter, goes up and down vertically. So we got to know the difference between those two today. All right, in general, reflections. So here's a picture of a reflection. You can see, I'm sure you've looked into water before, look into a mirror, you see your reflection. It's kind of everything reversed. But if you look at this is our original shape right here. This is our, so this would be our pre-image. This would be our image right here. Something important to note, and it was in our success criteria today, is that when you reflect over a line of symmetry, or a line of reflection, every part of the pre-image reflects perpendicular to the line of reflection. So if I made my line of reflection, it's probably about, and this isn't going to be perfect, right about there. So if you take like this point on his arm, and you go directly to the line perpendicular, so perpendicular means it makes a right angle, and then you go directly the same distance over it, you will get to the new point. So it has to be perpendicular to it, and the second point, it also has to be the same distance. So if I want to do it with all the points, if I took the very tip of him, the tallest point, all the way down, straight down, perpendicular here, and I keep going the same distance on the other side, we'll get to the reflection point. It'll work that way for every single image, pre-image to image in any reflection, on a graph or not on a graph. Here is an example of it on a graph. So we take a pre-image, which is right here, this green one right here. And if, let's just take point A, you reflect it directly straight to the line so that it's perpendicular, makes a straight line, and it goes the same distance over to get to A prime. Same thing with B prime and C prime. Same distance across, perpendicular to that line of reflection. And it looks like an exact flip of the image over that line. Let's work with some things on a coordinate plane now. So let's start with reflections over the x-axis. So remember we said the x-axis is this axis right here. The tall one is the y one. So if we start with point A, negative 1, 2, and so negative 1, 2, that's right here, that's point A. And we want to reflect it over the x-axis, it's got to flip over this line. So it's got to go straight to this line, and it's got to be perpendicular. So a line that goes straight to this line, and it's perpendicular, we go straight this way, makes it perpendicular. And it went 2 units over, so I'm going to go 2 units on the other side, and we get to point A prime. So A prime is point -1, -2. So A prime is -1, -2. Kind of a similar point, just a little bit changed. Let's try B. So let's erase this. And let's take point B, which is 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 over, 1, 2, 3, 4 up. That's our point B. So if we want to reflect that over the x-axis, that also has to go directly to this x-axis. So I go directly 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go directly 4 over, past it, and my new point B prime is the point 3, -4. So B prime is 3, -4. Oops. Again, very similar point, just a little bit changed. Let's try the last one, C prime. Sorry, C to C prime. So if I take point C, -2, -3, I get that point right here. Now I want to go over the x-axis again. So I go 1, 2, 3 to get to it. 1, 2, 3 up. There's my C prime. And that is the point -2, 3. So do you notice anything that's common that changed when you reflected over the x-axis? So from -1, 2 to -1, -2 to 3, 4, from 3, 4 to 3, -4, and from -2, -3 to -2, +3. You may notice that the only thing that changed was the y value. So interestingly enough, that is going to be a shortcut. Everything stays the same except for the sign on the y value. So reflecting over the x-axis, a shortcut, and this would be something worthy of writing down, a shortcut would be, when reflecting over the x-axis, change the sign on the y value. So if it was a positive, it becomes negative, and vice versa. Let's try it with over the y-axis. We'll use the same exact coordinates, and we'll see what happens. So -1, 2, that's this is our A prime again. And I want to reflect it over the y-axis. So we said this was the x, this one is the y. So to go over the y-axis, I've got to go over this line. So I go straight to it, and then 1 over, and I get, oops, that was supposed to be A, not A prime. So originally that was A. Now we end up at A prime, which is the point 1, 2. Now let's try B to B prime. So B is 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right up here. There's B. If I want to go to B prime over the, now I wrote B prime again. I want to go over the y-axis, so I gotta go straight to the y-axis, straight to here. That's 1, 2, 3 units over, so I go 1, 2, 3 units the other way, and I get to B prime. So that's the point -3, 4. And finally, C. C is -2, -3. That's right here. And I go over the y-axis, that would be right here. I go 2 units past it, and I get to C prime, and that would be 2, -3. Whoa. So look at those coordinates from -1, 2 to 1, 2, from 3, 4 to -3, 4, and from -2, -3 to +2, -3. What's the only thing that changed? This time it was the x value. Each time it's just switched the symbol. So that is our shortcut. Our shortcut for graphing, reflecting over the y-axis would be changing the sign on the x value. And the y value would just stay the same. So there you go. Let's practice with 2 of them. Now you can use the graph for this. You could also use our shortcut. So we have the point A, which is -1, 2, 3, and 2. So -3, 2. If we're going to reflect it over the x-axis, our shortcut was to change the y coordinate, or just the symbol on the y value. So the y is 2, so I'm going to guess that a prime is going to be -3, -2. So if I reflected over the x-axis, I would end up right here. -3, -2. That is our new coordinate. Let's try reflecting over the y-axis. So a to a prime. So if I reflected over the y-axis, it's going straight to this line. 1, 2, 3 units there, 1, 2, 3 units over. I have a prime. Our original point was 3, -2. Our new point is -3, -2. So again, we went over the y-axis. The only thing that changed was the sign on the x-coordinate. So a prime is -3, -2. So I'm going to leave you with one thought question, just as a refresher. Explain the shortcuts for reflecting points over the x-axis and for the y-axis. So hopefully you have them written down. Hopefully you recall. Over the x-axis, change symbol of y value. And over the y-axis, all you do is change the symbol that says change, trust me. The symbol of x value. And those were our shortcuts. And that goes all the way back to our learning targets for today, being able to reflect and be able to reflect on the coordinate plane. And success comes from, again, understanding what a reflection is on a graph, and then also being able to use those shortcuts. All right, have a great day, Green Beret.